A very exciting box came in the mail and I thought we could unbox it together. So let's get started. I am panting because I just ran down the stairs with this big box, and I didn't actually run. I walked very slowly. But just to preface this, this isn't sponsored. I bought this with my own hard-earned money, but it's very exciting. So let's go ahead and open this together. It's a quite large box, but you'll see why in a moment. More boxes inside the box. If I knew it was a box within a box, I would have unboxed the first box. Let's go ahead and open one of these boxes first. And then I think you'll have a pretty good hint on what I got. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. These are laughably humongous. Have you guessed it yet? Okay, so I got a spinning wheel, and this paper is very loud. And I got a jumbo-sized bobbin to go, well, I got a jumbo spinner and a jumbo-sized bobbin to go with it. And it looks like I'm going to need a screwdriver. First thing I'm noticing, and I'm just gonna say it because I'm not sure why this was the choice, but this is not solid wood. It's particle board. Or it's laminated plywood, rather. That is probably the biggest bobbin I have seen. I'm really excited about this spinning wheel because it is an electric spinning wheel. So it has on this end, it has the part where it says that the power source is enclosed, and I'm guessing that means it's in this part of the box, which is interesting. Oh my gosh, it's like, it feels like opening like an advent calendar or something. So there's the power source, and I think the rest of the box I do just have to kind of bust open. Maybe I can use, like, these are heavy duty staples on the top here. So basically, the idea here is an electric spinning wheel over one where you have to actually treadle it. I do have another spinning wheel that is just that's a double treadle spinning wheel. But the issue I've always had is that I've found that no matter what chair I sat on or how I sit, my lower back inevitably hurts from doing the actual treadling. And so I kind of had given up on spinning altogether because of that. As time has gone on, I have had more of a desire to try to get back into it because I really only did it when I was in college for fiber arts. And I don't know, there's something very dreamy to me about spinning your own yarn and just the customizations you can do with it. So here's the instructions. And we have the flyer. Oh my, this is so big. And it looks like the whole thing comes in this carrying case, which is super handy to have. And I really appreciate personally that this carrying case is just like a neutral gray, because sometimes I feel like things that are predominantly marketed towards women, they're just like, let's make it pink or purple. And for this kind of thing, I'd rather just have it neutral. And it did come with one bobbin. I got the one that's jumbo because I want to be able to make really thick art yarn. And in order to do that, you definitely need the bigger bobbins and subsequently the bigger opening on the spinning wheel. I am not going to call all these pieces by their proper names because some of them are weird. So I'm setting the case aside and I'm just gonna go ahead and open all these pieces so we can kind of see what we've got going on here. Okay, so we have some more pieces and some oil. We have the power pedal, and then I think this is so that you can actually just like plug it into a regular outlet. I'm gonna open the instructions and figure out how to put this together properly before I get too far ahead of myself, but so far I am so excited. I just feel like an electric spinning wheel is what has been missing from my life in terms of spinning, because now I'll be able to sit wherever and however I want. Like I could put this on my coffee table and sit on the couch and spin. And again, my whole issue was just with the treadling. That's one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy weaving on floor looms anymore either, because that treadling process, it just puts a lot of pressure on your lower back. I just didn't want that. Okay, so this looks like an actual instruction book on how to spin yarn. Oh yes, learn to spin on an ashford wheel. So that'll be helpful for me to sort of do a refresh on how to spin yarn. It's been a long time. So this one is called the E-Spinner Jumbo, and I'm gonna just go ahead and go through the instructions and put it together. Okay, so we're gonna get something out of the way. This part of the spinning wheel is called an orifice. And I'm sorry, but I just refuse to call it that. So I'm gonna call it the spinning wheel opening. So these are little opening reducers where, depending on the size of yarn you're spinning, you can make this smaller. So that's where having the big spinning wheel is really beneficial, because with a smaller spinning wheel, you can't increase that size, but with a bigger one, you can reduce it. So it just opens it up so you can spin many different thicknesses. So now I'm gonna be plugging in these pieces. So one is the foot pedal, and the foot pedal basically makes it so I can turn the spinning wheel on and off with my foot instead of having to reach in front. As you can see here, this thing is so beautiful. It's like, I feel like this is gonna look so nice just on the shelf, which is definitely a bonus. I think that's one thing I really love about solid wood fiber tools, is that they do look nice when they're sitting out on your table. All right, you guys, I think I'm just gonna try it. It's been a long time, but I think I kind of remember the gist of it, so I'm gonna give it a go. So the first thing I need to do is have a leader piece of yarn on here, which is just something that I'm gonna be spinning onto. Now I am gonna start with something a little bit thinner. So I'm gonna use these opening reducers. So they you can stack them up and then put them in the opening so that you can do smaller things. What's really handy too is it has this little hook right here that just sits inside of the spinning wheel itself. So it's gonna be really easy to go in here and hook onto, so you can see it coming through right here. That's to hook onto your leader yarn and be able to pull it through. So I'm gonna grab a piece of yarn that will become my leader yarn. I'm gonna grab some wool roving and just try this thing out. The directions suggested doing about a 5-foot long leader yarn, so I'm gonna do basically that. This might be a little bit thinner than what was recommended, but I'm gonna just try it and see. And I'm just over 5 feet tall, so I'm just going to use my arms and give this a go. I know that some people have a special way to tie on the leader yarn, and what was that? That seems all right. Okay, if you spin yarn, I don't want to see any judgments here because it has been a really long time. So one thing I am noticing is it seems like the cord for the pedal could definitely stand to be longer. This feels a little bit on the short side to me, because if I put it on the floor, like, it'll be fine, but I definitely think they could have probably made that a bit longer. But it is kind of kinked up right now too, so maybe that'll get better over time. So what I'm gonna do with my wool roving, I think I'm gonna split it in half at least. Maybe I'll even do quarters. Again, don't take directions from me because I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. I have it on as slow as it can go. It's on Z twist, and I'm gonna turn it on. Why is it flashing? Flashing. The e-spinner jumbo is on standby. The speed is at 0 or the foot switch is off. Okay, we're making yarn, people. Oh, it's so quiet. I love that. My other spinning wheel, and it's totally my own fault, is very squeaky. I kept having to oil it, and I would feel like I was just like, I probably could have oiled it more. It feels honestly quite intuitive. I thought this would feel a lot harder than it's feeling so far. Okay, not too shabby. So I'm gonna grab another piece so I can keep going. This yarn is probably gonna be not very good yarn, but like with all things, there's just so much practice involved and so much getting used to things like the tension, just literally all the things. So I'm gonna keep going and see what I can create. So another thing I can do here is as I'm spinning, I'm gonna be moving this leader thing, whatever it's called, so that it can fill up the bobbin. So you can move them back and forth to do that. We're doing it, guys. All right, you guys, so here is this little bit of yarn that I spun. I can definitely see that I have a little bit too much twist, so that's why it's kind of like twisting back on itself. So I definitely have a lot of practicing to do and sort of reintroducing myself to the art of spinning yarn, but I love how quiet this is. I love that it doesn't hurt my back so far, and I don't think it will, because this is gonna allow me to sit in any position that I need to and still be able to spin yarn, which is very exciting. And if you're looking forward to seeing me spin more yarn on this channel, let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for being here and watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!